Today, I have an update on a little known company I told you about in December of last year. In fact, I even called it the best penny stock of 2024. Since then, shares have skyrocketed. We've got an update and a lot of ground to cover. So let's get into it. What is going on, investors? Happy Friday. Hopefully, you're doing well out there. So let's start with the backstory of Silversun Technologies and why it was such an obvious buy last year. So it had nothing to do with the company's business outlook or its financials. In fact, at the time, it was a mystery what business the company would actually get into in order to make money. It was a weird situation, and it sounds a little bit crazy. And trust me, people called me crazy, maybe even a little reckless for recommending such a speculative stock at the time. But I knew exactly what I was doing. That's because Brad Jacobs was taking over, and he's done this numerous times in his career, each time creating a fortune not only for himself, but for investors and shareholders. In 1989, he founded United Waste Systems. 8 years later, he sold that business to Waste Management for $2.5 billion. Then he founded United Rentals, a tool rental company, now worth $40 billion. My first encounter with Brad Jacobs was not until 2011 when he bought a little known truck brokerage company called Express One, later renamed XPO. Using the same strategies he used in the trash and the tool rental business, Brad Jacobs was going to consolidate a sleepy truck brokerage industry filled with a lot of mom and pop operators into a multi-billion-dollar company. Today, XPO is worth about $12 billion, and I sold all of my shares in 2016 and bought the house that I'm sitting in right at this moment. And while XPO shares have actually climbed a lot higher since I sold, California real estate hasn't done that bad either. So when I found out Brad Jacobs was going to take over Silversun Technologies to build his next multi-billion-dollar business, I knew this was a moment to act. And at the time, it was unclear what business Brad Jacobs was going to get into. However, his style is to pick an industry that is very large but is fragmented among many small and mid-sized operators that would be willing to sell their business to Mr. Jacobs for the right price. With Silversun Technologies, Brad Jacobs is going to target the building products industry. So this is going to be things like construction supplies, doors and windows, electrical components, and all those types of things. Soon, Silversun Technologies will spin out its existing business. You're going to have no interest in that. That's going to go to a new entity, and the ticker symbol is going to change to QXO. Brad Jacobs is going to inject $1 billion into the new entity, and he's going to use that to fund acquisitions and get the business up and running. Existing shareholders of Silversun Technologies are going to get a special cash dividend, and here's where things get a little bit interesting. When the deal was first announced, existing shareholders would receive a dividend of roughly 50 cents per share, actually a little bit less than that. But the two sides renegotiated the deal, and it's actually benefiting the shareholder. The revised deal last month raised the special dividend to approximately $3.27 per share. If you got in when I first recommended shares, it means you paid roughly $10 per share, and you're about to earn a $3.27 dividend. That's a pretty good return in just 6 months. For those of you that took advantage of that, look, congrats. For everyone else eyeing an investment into Silversun Technologies, I would simply just wait. The company is going to execute an 8-to-1 reverse split, meaning for every 8 shares that you own, you are going to receive 1. Now, this sounds a little bit scary, but this is the exact same thing Brad Jacobs did at XPO. He needs to raise the share price to a level so he can use it as a fundraising tool for acquisitions. The new entity is going to issue shares and raise cash and use the stock as a tool to fund these acquisitions. That means any shares that you own are going to be heavily diluted over the next couple of years. And shorter term analysts and pundits, they are not going to like this. But this is exactly what you are investing in with QXO. The company is going to be making numerous announcements about how it's buying another company, while at the same time issuing shares of QXO to cover the cost. That's why more recently the company hired a CFO with over 30 years of M&A or mergers and acquisition experience. QXO is going to have many ups and downs before it becomes Brad Jacobs' next multi-billion-dollar business. And look, there's no guarantees they're going to be successful at it. But with speculative investments, you invest in leadership. For his entire career, Brad Jacobs has demonstrated the ability to lead and execute, more importantly, across a wide range of industries and economic scenarios. And there's no reason, absolutely no reason, not to believe he's going to do it again. Guys, that was the Bleeding Edge for today. I will see you again next week. Bye for now.